Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Y'all already see it here. What we got pulled up for you right now is the tier list of Season 2 Good Side
That's
Commander.
right.
So, kind of what we're going into right now is the updated tier list. There's been a good deal of changes. Definitely some varying things, I think, that now take part in Season 2 over Season 1, and definitely some movement of commanders. Um, Definitely some. I think they were expected nonetheless because I think we kind of had a feeling of what commanders were eventually going to overpower some. But all right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Not trying to make this a long, drawn out video like how we did last time. This is gonna be a one take, one take. So we're gonna start off with the tier 1 commanders. There were no new introductions, but we do think that people got moved around in season 2, not because of how good they are in general, but because of with season 2 being more competitive, we're starting to see more commanders get different uses and then some dropping off. So we'll probably hurt some feelings with a couple of these, but we gotta do it here. We gotta do it here. So just starting off in the unusable tier, y'all know we throw an Ori down there. No explanation needed. A horrible Dalwin basically that has no R0. So
Yeah.
just gonna throw
I
now.
got some more.
How dear though? How dear though? I think he is a really good commander now. I want to throw him in B tier now. I did have him in C. The introduction on mixed servers, and I'm gonna try and keep this as like geared towards our experience on mix because I can't really fight both sides of RP and mix. I kind of have to fight both sides here on mixed, or just fight on the mixed side because it's what our experience is. I can't speak towards the RP side, so bear in mind this is for the mixed servers primarily. But I do think nonetheless though, Haldir is really good with War Beast, Eagles, and archers. I think that he is straight up killer now with the beast healing. His front line basically doesn't die, so he's a solid B tier commander now. Really enjoy him. Um, Eowyn, we're gonna hurt some feelings here,
Yeah.
because in my opinion, and I've thought about this since the start of season 1, you could only run one cav commander and have enough resources to fund another couple of armies at most because of how expensive they are. We're thinking about dropping her down to either B tier right now.
Uh, yeah, see, it's hard to place Eowyn right now because last time we had her in the S tier, and in season one she shined really well because she did a lot of things well in season one because the points were much more limited. Now, as you continue to dump points into Eowyn, because she is such a balanced commander, she doesn't do anything too well. She doesn't do damage too well, and she also doesn't tank damage too well. So she falls into a category where there's other people that on this list that you'll come to find out that you'll want to use over her for those defined roles. Take Gimli,
Exactly.
for instance, who's a defined damage dealer. Take Gandalf the Grey, who's a defined tank. And you'll have those defined roles versus Eowyn, who doesn't really fall into either of those categories. She's a jack of all trades.
Yeah,
So
because I don't like her having a mix of active skills and then a good deal of command skills. The abilities that proc
yeah, like
from
Rohirrim.
Rohirrim and Lady of, but you also like that the middle tree doesn't pair well with her other abilities. Like it's her R3 really doesn't pair well with what she's trying to do.
Yeah,
And we'll kind of get into probably some of the other commanders that will fall into that same line. It's keep things simple, and this also makes where you want to build units um, comparably with what you're going for. If you're going for a tank build, maybe having some units in there that do damage, are going to make up for throwing tank units onto a tank commander. You don't achieve a whole lot. I'm gonna be honest. And I've done some experimenting with this as well. You know, units have to pair well with their commanders, and in general, I think Eowyn would do really well with just a stack of marshals. Don't get me wrong, but running that is extremely, extremely expensive. So I'll leave it at that.
yeah.
We're pretty solid in where we're putting her at B tier for season 2. Not that she's not a great commander. Don't get me wrong. I just think in season 1 she really shined because of how many people have access to her. Marion
Yeah.
Pippin, unusable tier. That's not ever going to change. Makes horrible. Here again, the only use for him now in season 2 is Siege, but I think in mixed you have Gothmog, and I know I'm mentioning an evil commander here, but he has like +4 Siege. I gotta admit, you're not ever gonna beat that. Faramir,
Yeah.
still sticking to my guns. I have had really good luck with him in this season, and I kind of showcased him being. I was within the top 10 before I moved over to the dwarfs, and everyone else was using Gandalf. I kid you not, I was top 7 at one point. Sometimes I would get into the top 5 for like maybe like an hour before someone else would come out.
That's everybody else using Gandalf the Grey, guys.
Yeah.
So that's just to show how well Faramir was competing with a tier 4 commander at the start.
Yep. So gonna place him in the S tier. I think in season 2, and me and Sir Chubbs went over this. His main thing is that his first 2 trees, the guide and the rangers tree, those are really good trees. They have a lot of good utility built into the abilities. So they're not just straight damage abilities, they've got utility built into them. Where he kind of falls short is after that, though, of the points. Because he has a tier 1 commander, you get more points in that commander. You get up to 10 and beyond very quickly. Hair is a good tree. It's not a great tree, though. Hair is okay. You got nobility, but that requires you to use all men. And on the dwarfs, I kind of want to use Iron Warriors. So I've maxed like hair out, and avoidance is really good so long as people are using Gandalf. So if more people use Gandalf, Faramir is also going to fall in line with him being really good in the first 4 turns because he can go through avoidance status. So we're going to leave him there in S tier. Still a great commander. I'm still sticking to the guns of he's the best tier 1 commander we got.
If they make changes to these tip trees, you're really going to see a whole lot of changes, especially in like who's in the unusable tier right now.
Yep.
Faramir has a really good chance at returning back to the god tier.
If they ever change it around.
If they ever change it. But that's, especially with the addition of the, it's where you impart wisdom. Those extra 4 points, again, guys, as you invest all those points, you want them going into good places. And that's, Faramir. And some of these other ones will come across. That's the problem they run into, is they're not good places to put them in.
So Dalwyn, gonna keep him at A tier. I don't think he's changed spots. I seriously think that he's gonna stay at A tier. He's solid all around.
With where he's at.
Yeah, he just doesn't do. You see, he does damage well, but I think where he kind of falls short is that he's got a mix of auto attacking abilities paired with abilities. So that's his really only shortcoming. But nonetheless, though, I mean, he's got everything Gimli has. He's just a weaker Gimli. That's just basically the way it is. Boromir, this was more of Milky Way's choice. I have never used him. I'll keep him in the B tier. He thought very highly of him, and I know he's been using him starting kind of ever since. So I know he's had good luck with him. I know a whole lot of people don't use him, but he is a good unit buffer from what I've seen. So I'm going to keep him in the B tier as well. And that kind of wraps us out here at the first 8 minutes, because most of the changes were not in the tier 1 side. It was tier 2 and 3 that really got changed around, in my opinion, of about who got really good. So starting off again with Denethor 2, just going to throw him in the unusable tier. He's pretty unusable. He just kills himself.
Because we did have him in D tier last time, but that was really without taking a close look, because I got him in season 1. And the reason why he's so unusable is if you look at the evil side, there's a lot of people that do self-inflicting madness. Where that's counteracted is when you max out those certain titles, they have the bonus effect, which is they're immune to madness. Denethor has nothing to combat madness, his own madness.
Yeah.
And so that's his pitfall. And you might say, well, you can build items to make him immune to madness. There's items in the game to make you immune to madness each round. The problem is you can do the same level of investment on some of these other guys, and they will be substantially better than Denethor. And he's not so reliant on how you build his items. So just keep that in mind as well. We're trying to curate this list also to how the commanders are on their faces versus, if I were to do X, Y, and Z to them,
they get items and exactly. So going over here to Eeyore, he falls into the same category as Eowyn. I had really good faith in his abilities in season one. He still has the Arrowed Leader and Rohirrim tree, but the problem with that is that he, no matter what, even if you go those two trees, he still gets abilities. And that's kind of my problem. He's a mixed bag. He does good things. I dropped him down to B tier, honestly. I like the new Cav commanders better, in my opinion. Uh, it's not that he's not a waste of a commander. Don't get me wrong. It's just that he does damage abilities. His middle tree is exactly like Eowyn's, but I just think that Eeyore does the exact same thing, maybe a little bit better. But we are comparing, these are tier 1 commanders, these are tier 2 commanders now. So I think that as a tier 2 commander, he still falls into the B category, even though Eowyn, I would put, Eeyore is still better than Eowyn. Okay, I just want to keep that in mind. But while they're both B tier commanders, he's a B tier in purple commanders, not a B tier in blue commanders. So keep that in mind as well as we're ranking these commanders now. So Theoden, he's up here in the god tier. He's the best Cav commander. He does so many things well. I know in the reason why he wasn't as good in season 1, and I even predicted that this would happen in, like, not necessarily on camera or anything, but the amount of skills that he has that could just be easily thrown onto him. He's got Chaotic Retreat. He's got Horsemanship, which is like the additional damage. He's got Mounted Combat. He's got Arid Leader. He's got the Renewed. He's got everything. Like, really, he's a god tier commander all the way around. He's well deserving of it. Do I wish I invested my points into him? Yes, unfortunately, because he's a round 10 commander. And I know people have heard me use that term before, but everything he does stacks up, and he is consistent through all round 10. The only caveat is he is a cavalry-only commander, and I really only like using one of those, if I use any at all. So
yeah, but he's going to be the one you're going to go to, though.
Yeah, in all reality, yes. Yep. Balin. So, I really like this guy. I actually think he is right here. He's got Frightened. Frightened is such a good ability on Vitalist. And then you also have Lord Amoria as well. He's got an excellent set of R0 skills. Probably one of the best R0s you can get as a tank. He is a great staller and does a significant amount of damage. And he works really well with dwarves. I don't know if y'all have seen it yet or really just noticed it. The amount of abilities that the dwarves have to buff dwarven units is actually pretty nuts. They've got a lot of stuff going for them in the dwarven commanders for dwarf units.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Elladan, I am not a fan of this guy. He falls probably right here in the C tier. He's not that great, honestly. I looked at his abilities. I did get him, but he does what Eeyore does, but he's even worse at it because his bottom tree hero is not good. It's just he gains plus 1% might. I am not going to build that at max. That's going to be maybe 30 might. Whenever you have maybe 250, that's probably what you're sitting at, and then you're going to get maybe 30, 35, maybe 40 might out of that. That's 15 points. Elven Rider is really good. Don't get me wrong, Elven Rider is really good. But Grey Company doesn't pair well at all with Elven Rider. So the middle tree half Elven is garbage. It's a 50-50 shot of doing a good deal of damage, or you're just getting focus, which does nothing. Boon, on the other hand, is a really good skill. I actually like Boon. Even though it's kind of RNG, it works well either way. So Boon's a fair ability. It's just half Elven's garbage. It's what honestly kills some commanders. Frodo and Sam, you already know where we're putting them. Unusable. R0 is terrible. Madness inflicting themselves. Pretty much stuff's been fixed.
As a purple with or a tier 2 commander with tip trees.
It's just
why
Yeah,
You
you know.
know, they just need to remove some of these trees and replace them with
They
something
move
else.
all of them. They need to remove every single
So,
one. That same Eldon's bottom tree has those like similar sets of skills. You know, it's like experience from
like
battle. It's like
hero, yeah,
yeah, like the
experience
hero
from
tree.
game battles and march speed.
Yep.
So march
So
speed purpose, but
yep.
yeah, still would want to see something better than that.
Imrahil.
Experience.
All right. So this guy right here is actually really good. So I have. He was definitely my most invested tier two commander, actually, because I pulled so much from that chest. Um, he's an A tier commander. He has got a lot of unit buffing abilities. He's not near as good as Thandon, don't get me wrong, but I do think that even if you just got 1 point in Prince of Dolomarth, he is really solid. You see the reason why Prince of Dolomarth is actually better than the Renowned is because 1 point grants all your cavalry units immuneness to madness. And what else is it? So I also want to bring up why this guy is so good in general. Um, so a stun and madness immunity. Both guys, that counters Sauron immediately. You immediately counter Sauron with this character with 1 point in R5. That you're
Yeah,
countering one of the best commanders in the game just with 1 point right here. Then he also gets mounted combat. I don't like the +1 speed. I'm gonna be honest. I don't now in a Cav versus Cav situation, your Cavs would strike first. That's actually really good. So
yeah.
hair as well. So he works really well with basically cataphracts and cavaliers. So that's going to be our main setup. We're going to be probably 2 units using on him in general. I've kind of got this. Don't worry about those. This is just there. But hair and nobility. So this isn't particularly a. His kit works well with hair. He's one of the only people that can do it. Hair gives defense every round. Nobility gives at 21% straight up damage to all men. Um, if you
Yeah.
go, he would want to be one of the only people that you can run Swan Knights with and run effectively. Partially,
What? Are you
partially,
saying that on tape right now?
yeah, so the
Oh
reason
my.
why is because of Swan Knight here at the end, you get +6 HP, and you do get that. Then you get the defense every round. So not only do you get that +100 defense, you get 7 every round, and then they also do 21%. Then you go into Ally here, and then you get reinforcements. So you go these two right here. Don't go Coalition, not good. Hair and Ability, really strong with this kit, and then reinforcements and ally. So
Very solid. Very
he's got a
solid.
really solid setup. He's a bit weird to work. I'm gonna make a video on him fully explaining how he works and doing. This is okay. So you get 1 point in the fair. He works exactly like um, Haldir and how what's his face? Faramir works. All you gotta do is get 1 point in the fair, and then you gain initiative in the next round. So your cavalry commanders attack first no matter what. Even if you have someone that's faster, you still gain initiative. So he's got a good set. He does, however, have the. Actually, he doesn't. I thought he did. I got him and Eldon mixed up, but Cleave and Brawl right here are not that good. He's a sustain, so that's enough talking about him though. I don't really kind of drag on this video about him.
Yeah.
But so nonetheless, though, Imrahil, great commander, A tier. So Aragon, he's gonna stay in A. He's a really good commander, solid
Yeah.
guy.
He didn't change a whole lot.
Yep.
So
Pursuit status isn't as useful. With Ghost now being now getting rid of their avoidance status. They are now kind of just kind of crap from what I've heard. We haven't actually gone up against them at all this season because we haven't faced Mordor yet, who's now got control of them. But not much has changed by him. So good commander though. Irwin, she's moving up through the ranks. She's S tier now. Partially because her healing now is absolutely insane. She can put out some crazy numbers of healing. Probably one of the only commanders that can outbeat Gandalf right now in healing in general. Mainly because Gandalf has other stuff built into his kit. But Arwen, though, is a great staller. And the only problem that you have with her in general is that you also have to compare her with Legolas. So we might as well get into Legolas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw him up here in the gods here. I think that his middle tree is absolutely nuts. Elven Prince and Dual Blows. I have said this before, even in like the video of me going over him. His middle tree is ridiculous. It's so good. He also has the same ability that what is making the dwarves, or not dwarves, but Linden actually stand a really good chance of beating us in combat in some situations is the Lockbear tree on Gimli, which we'll go over as well. That where dwarves take the defense for the archers in the back. If you set up Bocav and Sentinels on him with Guardians in the front, really good setup right there. Just for 3 points in that tree, you're able to also set up your archers for doing a ton of damage. So that's the main reason why he's in God's here. A lot of people start him as their secondary commander because he is very consistent. You know, we kind of talk about these commanders. They're consistent in their reports. That's what's important. You know, you might see Eomer doing a bunch of damage all at once. He hits all of his abilities. He's not afflicted with madness, but next thing you know, like in the next round, he's not doing as good because he got inflicted with madness. But Theoden is consistent. Theoden's consistent. You know, Legolas is consistent. Faramir has a good chance of being consistent every time. Arwen, consistency. Mm-hmm. So commanders that have a high deal of consistency are going to be really good. Yeah. So let's dive into Gimli here. Take it away, Sir Chubbs.
Yeah, so Gimli, we're going to be bumping down from S tier to A tier. And the main reasoning for this is as we continue to progress through the seasons, what you're going to find are the commanders that have good CC and have more command abilities, as we keep referencing to abilities that take place that can't be affected by debuffs or anything of that fall into that category. Those commanders are going to continue to move up. That's why Irwin moved up, and that's why Legolas moved up, and that's why Theoden all moved up. You're going to see those people that rely on abilities more that are going to continue to fall down. Gimli is one of those. Yeah, because we're seeing a lot of items these days that now do a whole lot of CC and will cause madness and stun. People are investing heavily into this game. And
those items are prevalent.
Commanders, yeah, the items are more prevalent now, and especially with some of these other commanders, as people are continuing to invest, they're getting stronger. And Eowyn, or I'm sorry, Arwen and Legolas, those guys are just going to continue to outdamage Gimli. Now you could say, well, Gimli, he has the hit experienced warrior tree, right, and he has Lockbear. The problem there is there are other people that could be doing that job better. Legolas, for instance, does that better than Gimli does. And even if you were to go Experienced Warrior and then go Durin's Blood and some actives, again, Legolas does that better. So that's why he is falling down on this tree on the tier list. And honestly, Balin, Dwalin, they fall into the same category of why they will stay A tier. I think they're better than the ones that are in the lesser tiers. They've got good actives. They got some other good solid titles in there that you can earn. But yeah, they're just going to be solid A tiers until the foreseeable future.
Yep, unless they start changing those things around. Gandalf, y'all already know he's moving up the gods here. There's not a single person that didn't start Gandalf this season, and for good reason. I started him on my alt account, and I guarantee he had one of the best starts. Just
best, absolutely. I mean, if you did not start Gandalf,
you were behind. Yeah.
So yeah, he's the best now, top hands down.
You know, in reality, it should actually look like this. Like, Gandalf is the best commander in the game right now. I kid you not. Like, he is honestly, all the way best. He does draw a lot, sure, but he has so many things going for him. It's unreal.
Bro, that don't even matter, man.
Like, he'll just
let him keep drawing.
Yeah, I mean, the top guy in our guild, he ran him. I saw his setup. It was really nuts. The man with the 5-star pipe, you know who I'm talking about. But he was I saw his build. He was the first 50 in our guild. He took so many 35s because he wasn't taking any losses. I asked him how he got it so quickly. Uh, that was what he did. He didn't take any losses, so he was able to keep doing it. So, all right, let's move on to the tier 3s, though. Yeah, I hope everyone's not too butthurt about these rankings so far. But going into the golds here, Aragorn, he's gonna stay up there in S. Really good. He's got Elisar. I actually think that in a certain situation with R5 Aragorn King version, his men-only trees could really be a killer between Elisar and his final tree. He has some serious potential to do a ton of damage, and also prevent stun immunity. He's got a lot of things built into him. He's got healing, he's got damage. He's one of the only people that can pull off damage and healing. I will admit that's really tough. Irwin can't do it. Irwin can't do healing and damage. She does do like maybe sub 40s in commander damage, but otherwise she's mainly a healer. Aragorn can actually pull off healing and damage. That's the reason why he's up there as a tier 3 S commander. So, alright, so King of the Dead. So we've actually taken some reconsideration at King of the Dead. Honestly, even without the undead, he is still good. So, slash tree prevents all healing in the game just from happening in general. So it's honestly he's a B tier commander. He's honestly a B tier commander. I do have actually some faith in him even without using the undead. He is actually really solid. So.
And he's got some CC that doesn't require using the undead as well.
Yep.
So he's one of the unique good commanders that has some really solid CC in his kit. I believe he has Madness, which makes him the second commander in this list that's able to inflict madness.
On the good side.
On the good side. Gladial being the only other person on the good side that can inflict madness. So, anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good
solid tier.
Oh yeah. So, Gil-Galad. Okay, so I kind of just want to go over. I was really hyped about him in season 1. His first R0 tree was really good. They changed the wording on the way that the bottom tree it was all allies at one point at 15% chance of avoiding damage. That was good. Now it's just elves. Elves already have, the Sentinels already have that built into their kit. The only way you're going to have full efficiency with this guy is if you go elf faction. So, honestly, he's a B tier commander. And as for a gold going, he is a B tier commander. Icicle is a really good tree, and his R5 is a good tree. But those are really it.
He's played with White Council. It's another kind of meh tree that I just don't think many of the golds need to have.
So, yep.
So,
as well as White Council is the same comparison as Ring Wraiths, but Ring Wraiths is a god tier tree to have on anybody, dude. It's ridiculous how strong Ring Wraith tree is on the evil side for all the Nazgul. Like, that's what White Council should be. It's a gold only besides Gandalf. Gandalf the Grey is the only one who has White Council. These are abilities on gold commanders. These guys take like 4 seasons to get. You're telling me White Council is it's not a gold tier. Yeah. It's not a gold tier skill. Gladial, she is going to be our god tier gold. I think that she is the best gold in the game. You can get well past 600 focus. Her auto attacks do focus. She heals. She has damage reduction. She inflicts madness as the only one of the 2 commanders on the good side that can inflict madness.
And backs it up with a good item. The item that you get from respect level 10, because every time she does focus damage, she heals.
Yeah,
and she already does a ton of focus damage. So it really pays off to keep investing in Gladial. I don't see that happening in the future with her changing a whole lot on this list.
Yeah, if you're a pay-to-win monster, if you're an absolute whale, Galadriel is just the best one to invest in. I'll go ahead and tell you, she's probably your money's worth if you consider it money's worth. So,
Yeah,
um,
even with White Council, you can skip over. You can invest heavily into the first the R0 trees and get the R5 tree when that's unlocked,
mm-hmm.
and you were golden.
Yep.
You've got everything you could want.
So next up is Gandalf the White. He's S tier. We did have him in A. The reason why he's being bumped up to S tier is because of his ability. His R0 set of skills is really good. It's mostly command abilities that don't take, they happen automatically. His R5 is also really solid as well. If you run cavalry with him, he's even better. So he works
Yeah.
really well with several skills. Great commander, honestly. He's really solid. He's got a lot of things going for him. Elrond, he's a C tier commander. He's not that good.
I borderline say he's a D tier, because he's better than using any of the unusables. But the problem is
He's a gold.
when you look at his kit, yeah, he's a gold. When you look at all the other golds on this list, and you're like, which ones do I want? Elrond should not be high up on that list. He's got Half Elven, which, and we've gone over Half Elven already. It's just not a great tree. But then on top of that, you have White Council. White Council, we've already said, is not a good tree. So he has two trees right off the bat that are just not something that you want to invest in. So then you look at
look at the last one.
Just
go ahead and look at the last tree. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we got Lord of Elmgris. I'm butchering that. So you have active tree, and you've got Rush, which is it's on a short cooldown, a damage ability, but that's all it is. You've got Convener, which is okay, but that's all that tree is. It's okay. There's no CC. There's nothing that really stands out that says that he's doing that really well as far as damage or tanking goes.
Yep.
And then you go into his last tree, which is again.
It just makes no sense.
Damage dealt. He's got a little bit of healing, and then he's got Starlight.
Why is this? Why does he have?
Incredibly situational. As situational as High Alert, which is in the White Council. So a lot of his stuff is just something that you just don't want to see in a goal.
Also,
so
why does he have rapid healing? Most of elves are ranged units, so the only way that you even use this commander, so allied elves do bonus damage. You are only gonna have one melee unit, really, and that might be heralds if you're running him, I guess, full efficiency. Why is this? Why isn't this just everybody at this point? Because this doesn't pair well with... I don't know. Y'all get the point. He's a no-no. Honestly, he might be a D tier. After just taking it deeper, just even a deeper look at him, he's just a D tier commander. He's honestly
I think he
bad.
has somewhat of a use. I wouldn't say he's unusable, but he's
as a
right
gold
there.
Commander. Gold, guys. He's barely competing with some of the blue commanders that we had.
And some of y'all might say, are you really saying that Eowyn is better than Elrond? Absolutely. Are you saying Hadir is better than Elrond? Absolutely. Any day, I would use those people over Elrond.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so we got Radagast the Brown. He's a great staller. The only problem is you gotta compete with other golds. So that's his main caveat. Is honestly the purples are the best tanks in my opinion because of number one, they're easily accessible. I don't think he beats out Gandalf or Irwin in tanking. His utility kind of takes a dive. He just doesn't do damage or tank, or he doesn't do damage at all. He only tanks. So,
and he only synergizes with Beast really, especially with his item that allows him to recover with Beast units. Yeah. So yeah, he's very situational, especially if you're playing on an RP server, because on an RP server you don't have access to the Horde.
Yep.
And some of the other things that kind of came in season 2 that were only evil side. So, anyways, it limits his
Thandril.
abilities a little bit more.
Thandril's. I don't even know who's worse. Thandril, Elrond. They're both sitting in the garbage.
So
They're not.
Again, nothing changed from season 1 to season 2 with Angel. It hurts me that you even put him C tier because like he's comparable to Elrond. He's just when you look at the other people on this list, and you're like,
throw him there.
Just throw him in D tier. Just go ahead and do it.
So Dane Ironfoot.
He's horrible.
So Dane, he's you know, we're comparing the two dwarven leaders right here. In reality, both are really good. In a 1v1, it's kind of hard to say. You know, R5, no items, I guess you could say. I think Dane would win. On occasion. See, Thorin has something that a lot of commanders don't. He has 2 stuns built into his kit. He's got Topple, which all you need is 1 point, and the stun will go off. He's also got Frighten. Revitalized is also a great tree. King Under Their Mountain is a good tree, and Oakenshield is a really good ability. It's just 5% reduced damage just right off the top, and it's on a 1-round cooldown. See, I've had really good luck with Thorin so far, and I almost want to throw both of them in A or both of them in S because I think they are on the same level. I really do because Thorin has 2 stuns built into his kit. Now R5 is pretty bad. I will admit R5 Thorin is pretty bad. Dane has a lot more useful trees though. That's the only reason why I would put Dane above. He is probably, but as we've said with actives though, it'll partly go away. Yeah. But I think as an active dealer, he is the best that the blue side has. So
yeah,
I would put him in S.
In S, and I put Thorin in A.
Yeah, so
would be how I would go about that. Yeah, Dane is just incredibly powerful still. Like you said, he's arguably the best active dealer for the good side right now, and yeah, for reasons that you've already stated with Thorin as well. I was actually again we weren't talking about items, but I do think it's worthy just to kind of bring up Thorin's item is not.
It's horrible. I wouldn't use it. It's as a gold item. Yeah, it falls in the same light as Starlight. It's like they made this goes back to the evil side commander as well. That has allied men and evil men commander. It's Beorthriel, like the evil chairwoman that sits in the chair, Queen of Gondor. You see, she was built for mixed, but my problem is like some of these items and abilities were not. It was intended for roleplay, but some of these commanders were intended for mixed play. So I don't get what their focus is at times because I'm like, are there so many different people building these items? And yeah, Thorin's item is a bit of a disappointment as a gold level item. It should be mixed. It should be something that is overarching. Not necessarily like only versus like I think orcs or a guy or something like that. It does additional damage.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We clipped off some time for y'all compared to the first one. I think we were like well over 50 minutes. We knocked it down to 38 for you. You're welcome for the bargain deal. But we're confident in this list. I know there's not a whole lot of people in C tier. That's mainly because there's not a lot of people like that are straight up terrible that belong in C and beneath. Like there's really not a whole lot of people that belong down there. Eladin's a perfect example of a C tier commander. He doesn't do a whole lot going on for him. And the reason why there's more people in B tier is because they have stuff going for them, but it's not enough to make them go above that, though. If they're in C and below, it really means that none of their stuff is really coordinating, but you could maybe make it work in some situations. So the way we tried to compare this as best as possible, just wrapping this up, is we compared all the tier 1s against themselves, but also you got to consider their effectiveness in Season 2. So a bit of some different factors that definitely played in, but nonetheless, though, we're confident in this tier list.
That's right.
This is what we've seen succeed, guys. This is what we've seen. Regency has had really good success with Gladial. It was his first 50, I know that much, and he's actually had a lot of success with out there in PvP. All 4 of these God tier commanders you have probably seen the most of in PvP across all of your servers. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. S tier as well. Faramir's probably the only one because people just underestimate him. I guarantee you, he's the only he's the only tier 1 commander that can go through avoidance status. The only one. And that's with all troops. 70% chance. You cannot beat that. And then the first 2 rounds, 45%. That's enough for life for me. But, alright guys, we're going to wrap it up here, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you stuck out this long, thank you so much for watching. Without further ado, this is IPP, my kids, IRL, signing off.
This is so fabulous.
And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.